Loyalty doesn't live long in the streets, and in episode 5 of BMF season 4, J Pusha just proved it. One moment he's in Meech's corner, the next he's flipping sides like he never knew the man. But this betrayal, it wasn't random, it was calculated, and it changes everything. Let's talk about what went down with J Pusha, because this moment wasn't just shocking, it was a major turning point in the entire season. From the very beginning of episode 5, there were signs that Jay was off. He was too quiet, too careful, like he was thinking 3 steps ahead while everyone else was reacting. And then it happened. Jay made his move, and it left everyone wondering, was he ever loyal to Meech in the first place? J Pusha has always been a complicated character. He's never been fully trustworthy, but he was never a full-on snake either, until now. In this episode, we see him quietly feeding info to the enemy, tipping off K9's crew about Meech's next shipment. At first, it's subtle. DJ's just talking, acting like he's venting frustrations. But as the episode unfolds, it becomes clear. This is betrayal, plain and simple. And it's not an emotional decision, it's business. Jay sees Meech slipping. The walls are closing in, the feds are watching, and the streets are getting colder. J Pusha wants to be on the winning side, even if that means stabbing his brother in the back. But here's the key moment that hits the hardest. The scene where Jay meets in secret with Big L's cousin, Tone. It's late night, shadows everywhere, and you can barely see their faces, just voices, low and tense. Jay slides an envelope across the table. Inside, a layout of the warehouse. Times, routes Meech's entire next move. And just like that, years of loyalty are gone in a single handoff, no hesitation, no regret. That's what makes this betrayal so cold. It wasn't emotional. It was strategic. Now let's break this down deeper, because the writers didn't drop this scene out of nowhere. If you go back to the earlier episodes, this season, you'll notice J Pusha has been slowly drifting away from Meech's core team. In episode 3, he was missing during a key meeting. In episode 4, he barely spoke during a crew strategy session, and when he did, he questioned Meech's leadership. That wasn't just attitude. That was foreshadowing. The writing was on the wall. What's even more interesting is why Jay chose to betray Meech now. Timing is everything. Meech is stretched thin. Terry's out of the picture. Law enforcement is creeping closer, and cash flow is unstable. In Jay's eyes, Meech is slipping not because he's weak, but because the game is changing. And Jay, he's trying to survive it. He's making moves like a free agent. That envelope he handed off wasn't just information, it was his resume to Meech's enemies. A message: I'm ready to switch sides. What can you offer me? This moment also shows us something bigger about the BMF universe. Trust is fading. Everybody's looking over their shoulder. There's no loyalty without leverage. J Pusha knew that Meech didn't have enough pull left to protect him, so he went where the power was shifting. It's cold, it's harsh, but it's real. And we can't forget the emotional fallout. Even though Jay acts calm and collected, the look on his face after the betrayal says a lot. There's a flicker of doubt, maybe even guilt. He walks away from that meeting slower than usual, head down, like a man who knows there's no turning back. Once you betray Meech, you don't get a second chance. And Jay knows it. From this point on, he's a marked man. The most dangerous thing about J Pusha's betrayal isn't just the information he gave up, it's the chain reaction it sets off. Now that Meech's next move is exposed, the entire operation is vulnerable. It's not just a setback, it could lead to a full-on collapse if Meech doesn't move fast. And that's what makes this betrayal so massive. It's not just about loyalty, it's about power, survival, and the shifting rules of the game. We'll have to wait and see how Meech responds. But one thing's for sure, J Pusha just crossed a line that can't be uncrossed. Power doesn't always scream. Sometimes, it whispers. And right now, Loco's silence is the loudest thing in BMF. While everyone's eyes are locked on J Pusha's betrayal, something even more dangerous is brewing in the background. Loco, Meech's so-called right hand, is moving differently. Watching more, talking less. And if you've been paying attention, it feels like he's not just riding with Meech anymore. He's scouting his own lane. Let's rewind. Back in episode 2, Loco was the one pressing for expansion into Cleveland. He pushed the idea hard, said it was about growth, about outsmarting the competition, but Meech hesitated. He wanted to tighten what they already had before stretching thin. Loco didn't argue much back then. But he didn't forget either. That was the first sign of friction, a small disagreement that hinted at something bigger underneath. Now fast forward to episode 5. Loco's role in this episode is quiet but calculated. He's there in the scenes, nodding, listening, acting like he's still locked in. But there are moments, quick glances, slight hesitations, where it feels like his loyalty is wearing thin. He questions Meech's decisions, but only in private. He keeps his concerns close to his chest, like a man building a backup plan. And when the crew learns about the ambush that J Pusha helped set up, Loco isn't shocked. He's almost ready for it. Here's the thing about Loco. He doesn't move emotionally. He moves when the math makes sense. And right now, he's watching Meech take L after LJ flipped. The streets are heating up. The crew is bleeding money. Loco is loyal but only to power. And if he sees that power slipping, don't be surprised if he takes the first off-ramp out. There's a scene in this episode that says it all. Loco meets with an old connect from season 3, a Loki player named Don Rico, who's now working out of Toledo. The convo seems casual at first. They talk about territory, the Cleveland move, supply chain issues. But there's tension in the air. Rico drops a line that hits hard. Sometimes you gotta stop following the king and start building your own kingdom. Loco doesn't respond right away. He just looks down, taps his finger on the table, and says, "Timing is everything." That line. That's not loyalty. That's strategy. This entire scene is layered with double meaning. Loco isn't making a move yet, but he's gathering information. He's seeing how the pieces on the board are shifting. He's testing the water to see who's still riding with Meech and who's already thinking about life after him. That's what makes Loco dangerous right now. He's not emotional. He's observant. And that kind of man. He can turn on you without raising his voice. What's more, Loco still has the crew's respect. While Meech is getting distracted with politics and power plays, Loco is staying close to the streets. The younger guys talk to him. They trust him. If he decided to start something on his own or flip to a rival crew, it wouldn't be hard to bring people with him. That's the real threat, not just that Loco might betray Meech, but that he could take a piece of the empire with him when he does. And don't forget the emotional tension between Loco and Meech. It's subtle, but it's growing. Loco feels overlooked, underused. He's done the dirty work. Stayed loyal in the shadows, but still hasn't gotten a real seat at the table. That kind of resentment doesn't fade, it builds. Quietly, slowly. Until one day, it explodes. That's where we're headed. But here's what makes this twist so interesting. Loco isn't acting out of hate. He still respects Meech. Still sees him as a brother. But in this world, respect doesn't always mean loyalty. Sometimes, respect is the only thing holding you back from doing what's best for you, until the right moment arrives. And right now, that moment feels close. Loco hasn't made his move yet. But make no mistake, he's in motion. Every decision Meech makes from here on will either pull Loco back into the fold or push him further away. One wrong step, one more sign of weakness, and Loco might just decide to take the wheel for himself. Because in BMF, when loyalty cracks, ambition takes over. When your own soldiers start folding, you don't look behind you, you look across the battlefield. And that's exactly what Meech just did. Episode 5 doesn't just show Meech reacting to betrayal. It shows him evolving. He's not begging for loyalty anymore. He's building something new. Quietly, sharply. And it starts with an alliance nobody saw coming. This episode drops a major twist. Meech links up with Ghostface Tone, a seasoned, low-profile figure from the East Side, who hasn't been on screen since season 2. He was out of the game, or so we thought, but now, he's back. And Meech brings him in for one reason: survival. This isn't about building muscle. It's about reshaping the board. Meech isn't just trying to win, he's trying to reinvent his power. The meeting happens in a spot that says it all. A worn-down boxing gym, closed to the public. Lights dimmed, the hum of an old freezer in the background. No fanfare. No entourage. Just Meech and Tone, face to face. The conversation is all subtext. No names. No numbers. Just lines like "they took from me. I'm just returning the favor." Tone nods once, says nothing for a full 10 seconds, then replies, "Loyalties for dreamers. Let's talk about leverage." And just like that, it's official. A new alliance is born, not out of friendship, but necessity. Why does this matter? Because Tone is different from the usual players. In Meech's world, he's not flashy, not hungry for territory. He moves in the shadows, a tactician. In the old days, he was known for building networks across state lines, running product through legal businesses, and flipping the game without firing a shot. If J Pusha represents betrayal and Loco represents hesitation, then Tone represents adaptation. He's the blueprint for what comes next. Meech understands that brute force alone won't protect BMF anymore. The feds are getting smarter. Rivals are getting richer. His old crew is breaking apart. So, what does he do? He partners with a man who knows how to play chess in a world full of checkers. There's a scene after the alliance is made that seals the deal. Meech steps outside the gym, lights a cigarette, and looks across the skyline. His voiceover comes in low. You build empires with enemies sometimes, as long as they hate losing more than they hate you. It's a new mindset. Old Meech would have seen this as weakness. But this new version, he knows survival means making moves that feel wrong, but hit right. This alliance also tells us something else. Meech is preparing for war, not just against rival crews, but against the collapse of his entire empire. He knows J Pusha's betrayal was just the first crack. He senses Loco slipping away. And instead of chasing ghosts, he's reinforcing his future. Tone has access, connections, silent power. Together, they can move smarter, not louder. But there's risk. Tone doesn't come with loyalty. He comes with history, and that history includes a past beef with Meech's father, something the show teases but hasn't fully revealed yet. There's a deeper layer here, a buried grudge or unresolved tension that could surface at the worst possible time. It's the kind of alliance that could either save Meech or destroy him from within. That's what makes this so compelling. It's not just a business move. It's a gamble. Meech is betting that old enemies can become new architects. He's trusting a man built on silence, not loyalty. But maybe that's the point, because everyone Meech ever trusted is now fading into the rearview. From a writing standpoint, this is a brilliant shift in the character arc. Meech is evolving. He's colder, sharper, less emotional. We're watching him let go of brotherhood and step fully into empire mode. It's no longer about who's real, it's about who's useful. That shift changes everything. And don't be surprised if this alliance leads to a power move in episode 6 that flips the whole season. With Tone backing him, Meech might finally have what he needs to outsmart the feds, sideline the snakes, and restructure BMF into something leaner, meaner, and untouchable. Because when your house starts crumbling, you don't just fix the roof, you burn the blueprint and build something new. Episode 5 didn't just move the story forward, it planted bombs. Wrapped in whispers, just waiting to explode. From background details to side glances, the episode is loaded with quiet signals, clues the average viewer missed but real BMF fans are dissecting frame by frame. And if even half these theories are true, episode 6 is about to hit like a freight train. Let's start with the theory catching the most heat online. Meech knew about J Pusha's betrayal before it happened. Sounds wild, right? But think about it. When the ambush goes down and Meech learns the route was leaked, his reaction isn't shock, it's confirmation. The way he stares at the map, silent, jaw clenched, almost like he expected it. Some fans believe he let the setup happen on purpose, just to see which rats would crawl out of the shadows. There's even more fuel for this theory in the way Meech spoke to Zoe, his driver, right before the drop. He says, if anything, feel off, don't wait, hit the gas. Not if something happens. If it feels off. That's paranoia, or preparation. What if Meech purposely fed Jay false info to test his loyalty? If that's true, J Pusha didn't outsmart anyone. He walked straight into a trap. Now, let's talk about Loco and the hidden alliance fans think he's building in the dark. A few sharp-eyed viewers caught a quick moment at the 28-minute mark. Loco is seen dialing a number after walking out of Meech's house, and though the screen blurs the contact name, the voice that answers sounds a lot like Keon, a small-time crew leader from Season 3 who got burned by BMF and never really disappeared. If Loco's been talking to Keon behind Meech's back, this might explain his calm throughout the episode. Some fans think Loco isn't just biding time, he's laying groundwork. getting ready to make his own move if Meech stumbles one more time. The scariest part. He wouldn't need to betray Meech directly. All he has to do is step back and let everything collapse without lifting a finger. Another major theory is tied to Meech's new alliance with Ghostface Tone. People are calling it the deal with the devil. On the surface, it's a smart move, but fans with long memories know Tone's cousin was killed during one of Meech's early territory grabs in Season 1. It was never addressed again. No retaliation. No mention. But now that Tone's back, that silence feels intentional. The theory goes like this. Tone never forgot. He's playing the long game. And by getting close to Meech, he's setting him up, waiting for the perfect moment to hit him where it hurts most. One Reddit thread even claims Tone's entire reappearance is part of a revenge plan, orchestrated by a silent partner we haven't seen yet, possibly Big L's younger brother, who's rumored to be introduced in episode 6. Wild maybe, but with BMF, it's never just about business. Let's shift gears. Because the writers left us some cinematic foreshadowing that's easy to miss but hard to ignore. In episode 5's final scene, there's a slow zoom on Meech's reflection in a shattered mirror. It lingers. No dialogue, just his fractured face, staring back. Symbolic. Absolutely. That image screams internal conflict, duality, a king becoming the very thing he swore to fight. And here's where things get crazy. Some fans are saying Meech might fake his own death this season. That's right, not a literal exit, but a tactical vanishing act. The theory is rooted in one line. He says, to Tone, sometimes disappearing is the loudest thing you can do. Combined with the heat from law enforcement and the crumbling of his inner circle, this could be Meech's way of resetting the game. Drop out, regroup, re-emerge stronger. A ghost in the streets. Other fan theories picking up steam. Monique is playing both sides? Her silence lately is suspicious, and a few fans believe she's been funneling info to Detective Bryant's replacement, an unnamed female agent briefly teased in the Season 4 trailer. J Pusha isn't done. Even after the betrayal, some think he has one last play, a face-to-face with Terry. Why? Because back in Season 2, Terry saved Jay's life during a warehouse raid, something Jay never repaid. The new kid in Meech's crew, Darnell, is actually Big L's nephew. He was introduced too quietly, too conveniently, and seems to always be around when something bad goes down. What makes all these theories work is how tight the writing has become. Every line has weight. Every silence has meaning. The showrunners are layering the story like a chessboard, and episode 5 was the first major shake. So what does it all point to? Chaos. But not the loud kind. The kind that creeps in while everyone's looking the other way. Betrayal won't be loud. It'll come from the quietest character. The move that changes everything won't come from Meech, but from someone we're underestimating. And if even one of these fan theories is true, BMF is about to enter its most dangerous chapter yet. Will Meech see the betrayal coming from inside his own circle, or will ambition blind him? Every alliance comes with a cost. Every move has a shadow. And in BMF, it's never about who pulls the trigger, it's about who's still breathing after the smoke clears. So now I'm asking you, drop your theories in the comments. Who do you think is about to switch sides? Is Loco building his own empire? Is Meech 3 steps ahead, or one wrong move from losing it all? And don't forget, if you caught something in episode 5 that we missed. A look, a line, a clue. Bring it to the table. Let's crack this thing wide open. Because if there's one thing this episode made clear, it's this.